Hello and welcome to Take Me Back to the 90s podcast, where we journey back to the golden era of 90s. In today's episode, we explore the story of an artist who started off his career behind the lens. He captured the truth as photojournalist and then stepped into the spotlight as television artist. In today's episode, we dive into the inspiring story of Amar Talwar. His journey is full of passion, purpose, and unforgettable 90s memories. But what made him leave the lens and walk into the frame? He shared with me the moment that changed everything.
Kind of happened automatically, really. I was working as a photographer in the 80s, from 80 till about 90, when I was 30 to from the age of 30 to 40. 80 to 90 was like my age of 30 to 40. I have these categories of my life. My life has been composed of 4 or 5 decades where I've done different things. So the 80s were taken up with my photography, which also I got into by chance. And then, when the photography thing was coming to an end, I mean, not when the decade was coming to an end, I just said, everything is fine, everything is lovely, you're making money and you're having a good time traveling in India, which has been my love from the start. But yeah, you're not too happy a guy. And then it just struck me कि school में मैं acting करता था on stage and everything. And even in college, I did a couple of plays. So just by chance, the next day, I was just walking down the road and I saw Barry John walking down. He was a famous face. I knew him by only by his photograph. He was walking down the road, and I stopped my car and I got out and I introduced myself and I said, "I'm so and so. Can I'm very keen to act in your plays." That was an evening pastime. There was no money in stage shows. So he said, "Yeah, by the way, I live upstairs, right there." He was right under his Barsati flat walking home. And we are actually having a reading for our new play tomorrow. So you're most welcome to come at 6:30. I landed up there, and there we were. And there was Divya Seth, and there was Shah Rukh Khan sitting there. I didn't know him because I never watched TV. His 4G was on TV, but I never owned a TV those days. And I was introduced to him. And then later on, I said, "Oh, this is Shah Rukh Khan, the 4G guy." And Barry cast me. And before I knew it, in the next 3, 4 years, I'd done something like 30, 40 plays. Everybody started casting me left, right, and center in a play. Acting in a play means 2 months of rehearsals. So it's like a packed schedule. And that's how I got into acting. And then someone saw me, and that's how TV happened.
Shanti wasn't just another TV show. It was first Indian television daily soap. And Amar Talwar character brought depth, intensity that audience hasn't seen before. This role made him household name. Let's hear how Shanti happened.
That's exactly what happened. These plays used to travel around India. They were evening shows, and I said there was no money in it. My money was still coming from my photography. And the play was also one of the plays also went to Bombay. I think the play that did it for me was Prisoner of Malabar Hill, which was an Indian adaptation of Prisoner of Seventh Avenue. It was a comedy, tragic comedy in which Lilette Dubey gave me the main role. Ranjit Kapoor was the director. Lilette and I played husband and wife. And that play was shown in Bombay. And then out of the blue, about a month later, I get a call from Bombay. "Hey, we've got something for you in Bollywood. Come on down." I said, "Who are you?" And it was someone from UTV, the producers of Shanti. And then the phone was handed to Adi Pocha, who was the brains behind Shanti. And he spoke to me and he said, "You come to Bombay, we got something lovely going for you." I said, "What do you mean?" And then I contacted some of the people I used to act with, Divya and and Ritu Raj, who passed away, unfortunately, about a year ago. And they said, "Yeah, come, but don't go by this payment per episode. Go by a monthly payment because 1 month, So the long and short of it is they agreed to my payment terms. The next thing I knew, I'd shifted to Bombay and and plunged into Bollywood with no plan. I had no plans of Bollywood, not at all. But it happened because of plays.
Before social media, there were ads that lived in people's mind for years. The Titan ad starring Amar Talwar was one of them. Here's what he shared about being part of that iconic commercial.
You're very sharp. You're really sharp. That ad happened while Shanti was being developed. We I came to Mumbai. Those days it was Bombay and Mumbai. I've all my life called it Bombay. So I hope people don't mind if sometimes Bombay comes out instead of Mumbai. Uh, uh, and while I was doing all these plays in Delhi, I started getting what was called corporate ads. Not these TV ads and all that, but print ads. Because people started seeing me on stage. People in Delhi started giving me press ad work. And before I knew it, I got a call from Madras from Rajiv Menon, right? He was a famous director, not then, but soon became. And he cast me for the Titan ad. And the Titan ad was released before Shanti was released. There was another, the very first ad I did was for Raymond's by White Light Company. And that was also, I got that role because of my work on stage. So it was stage acting that did it for me. It's a hobby. It was a hobby.
With constant recognition from TV ads and shows, Amar quickly became a familiar face in homes across India. Here's how he described what it was like to be that well known.
Absolutely, and more than the ad, it was Shanti. I was a naive little. I mean, I was 40 years old by then, but my thing wasn't to become a star or anything. I would have done that when I left college because I was so into acting and everything in college and in school that one option I had was to shift to Bombay. It was definitely Bombay in those days, and try my luck in the films. My hero Shami Kapoor and Sadhana and all these people were my heroes and heroines. But I said, "Nee, yaar, I'm not going to go around singing songs, running around trees and all that. वो नहीं करने वाला मैं. So I opted out of acting as a career and I got into other stuff. And I've forgotten your question. I tend to talk too much.
Jassi Jassi Koi Nahi changed the face of Indian television. Amar Talwar was there playing a strong, emotionally rooted father figure. It was a role that resonated with viewers. Let's hear his experience working on this progressive show.
I had worked with the directors on a show called Just Mohabbat. There was a show called Just Mohabbat.
Yeah.
I think that happened before Jassi Jaisi Koi Nahi. And they cast me in Just Mohabbat because they saw me in Shanti. And so the same producers were going in for Jassi Jaisi Koi Nahi, and they thought I would make the perfect sort of boss. And so they cast me. And that's how that happened.
Do you remember Just Mohabbat? Just Mohabbat was youth-centric and heartfelt series from the 90s. Amar Talwar brought warmth and wisdom to the show. Here's how he remembers it.
Mohabbat was about a young boy and girl. I forget the girl I think opted out of acting and everything, but the boy was in the news quite recently. He was from Gujarat. I forget his name. It was a very nice love story about two teenage, a girl and a boy, and their Mohabbat. And I played the father of the girl.
Chemistry between the cast of Jassi felt so real, and that came from the genuine bond they shared. Let's hear what Amar has to say about his co-actors.
Jassi, she was a lovely person, really, and I got to know her a bit. But most of all, I became very friendly with the. Sorry, I didn't play the girl's father. I played the boy's father, Jassi's love interest, Apurva Agnihotri. I played his father, and there was great bonding between him and me. And these days we collaborate online on our motorcycling escapades. He's into motorcycling and I'm into motorcycling, and so we share our experiences at motorcycling. We played father and son in Jassi Jaissi Koi Nahi. Rajesh Khera also, the guy who was Jassi's friend in the workplace. I've been in touch with him also. He is also into motorcycling, and just recently he and I went motorcycling down to his farm down near Alibag. So those are my memories of Jassi Jaisi Koi Nahi.
Even a small role in Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gham was so iconic because every frame was iconic. Amar shared screen space in one of India's most brand films. Let's hear what he has to say.
I'll take a little time over this because, I did not do films professionally. In films, you need an agent and who does all your talking and does all your pricing and everything, because I've heard some of them talk, and I said, I can't possibly talk like that. But I did this for fun. I did these films for fun. It just so happened that Anil Advani, I think, was Karan Johar's assistant director, Nikhil Advani, I'm sorry. So Nikhil called me up and he said, Sir, I've seen you in Shanti and we want you for this role. I played the role of a father of a guest star. Even Rani Mukherjee was a guest appearance. She did a guest appearance in that film, and I played her father. So it was like a guest role, guest role, guest role. Nothing, But just because the role was that of course, Rani's father, but Amitabh Bachchan's character's best friend, it became huge for me, just because all my shots were with either Rani or with Amitabh ji, So it became like, wow, And it was a shoot of a few hours or over a couple of days, 3, 4 days. Initially, Karan wanted me to dance also. He was considering me to dance along in that Shava Shava, but then he, for some reason, decided that I should just stay on the side. He perhaps thought I might steal the show.
Getting to work with Amitabh Bachchan, it's every actor's dream. For Amar, it became a memorable reality. Let's hear what it was like acting along with Big B.
Actually, done 3 projects with Mr. Bachchan. The first project I did was, I think, when Shanti was on or it had just finished. I did an ad film with him in for Boroline or Boroline. It used to be a burn paste. I did that with him. There was a shadi sort of a scene. Then I did another film with him called Diwar 2, which didn't do well at the box office. There was Diwar 1, of course, with him and Shashi Kapoor ji and all. But much later, there was a Diwar 2 about India-Pakistan partition, and we did that. And then we did Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gham. And he was wonderful. He sort of, every time we met, he greeted me like he knew me, which was a huge compliment because who am I, So it was wonderful to work with him. It really was wonderful to work with him. Very, 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 very down to earth, pleasant, friendly, at least with me. Yeah.
Many wonder, will we see Amar Talwar back on screen? Let's hear it from him.
No, I don't. I had my fill, I got so much work. I got so much work. I mean, I once upon a time made a list. Can you imagine? I did something like 27 or 30 serials. TV serials. I mean, it's I don't even remember the name. Naya Zamana, Jassi Jaisi Koi Nahi, Just Mohabbat, Kahin To Hoga.
कहीं तो
The,
होगा.
half the names I've just forgotten, you know. And I actually shot for over 50 ad films. A lot of them are get canned, you know, they don't even see the light of day for some reason. They're just canned. But I did 50 plus ad films. And I did about 20 feature films, you know. And as I said, these feature films, I didn't do them professionally. I just did them for a song. The last one I did in Baby, I played a role, was because my mother, who I was looking after those days, she insisted I say yes to Mr. Pandey. You know, I was not very keen to do it. But I did it because my mom pushed me. She said, "Nahi karo, jaake karo." And the shooting was in Delhi, where I was looking after my mother anyway. So no, I don't really miss it. You know, I till today I get calls, I get messages, but I keep for some reason I keep declining it. I think it was the Bombay traffic more than anything else that I ran away from there. I live in Pune now, in Panchgani.
Beyond sets and scripts, Amar has a special passion that surprises many.
Motorcycling.
Wow.
When I'm 75, so I'm living a retired life.
From meaningful dramas to mass entertainment, Amar has also worked with Ekta Kapoor, the queen of Indian television. Let's hear how that experience shaped him.
Ekta Kapoor show. Yeah, one day I just got a call from her casting director, and I went to meet her, and she said, "I want you to. Can you do this? Can you? Would you like to? Whatever, you know." And I said, "Okay, fine. You know, I'll do it." It was a nice role. Amna was my daughter. I had four daughters in that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a nice experience. Kahin to hoga. So I was very lucky, you know. I got cast in so many shows that did so well, you know, with no effort on my part. You know.
Who could forget Shararat, the magical comedy that left a charm that is hard to recreate? Let's revisit his days on that set.
Rajiv Mehra, he cast me in Shararat, and he wasn't sure how how I could do comedy. But you know, my all my theater work before I came to Bollywood was all comedy. They were all English comedies because the English, otherwise the English plays didn't work. Prisoner of Malabar Hill, of course, was a tragic comedy, but it was a laugh a minute show, you know. So it seems that I fit in all right. I wasn't out of place. Mr. Mehra was actually not sure that I'd accept because it was a comedy. I said, no, no, I'd love to do comedy, you know. So we did it. That was the film, and there was also a TV show. But all my scenes were with Farida ji. You
Farida
know,
Jalal.
I think
Anyone who watched television in 90s will tell you that it had a special charm. Amar was big part of that time. Here's what he says.
I miss all that excitement of being on the set. I mean, I don't miss it in the sense that I want to get back to it. But when I think of it, it was great fun, you know. I mean, there were days when I was shooting at three different things on the same day. I'd wake up in my flat in Andheri and go off to Chembur. Morning, I would go for a shoot in Chembur for an ad film or something. In the afternoon, there would be a shoot in Film City for some serial. And in the evening, I would go to Mud Island to do another serial. You know, so it was like tearing from here to there and everywhere. And you know, and people welcoming me. And even though I wasn't too keen on being recognized on the roads and all that, just became quite 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 a scene, really. I remember when I first joined Shanti, I asked Adi Pocha, the director. I said, "Yaar, I hope people are not going to recognize me on the roads now. I hope I can go to the market and have my golgappas and pani puris and in peace. He said, "Nahi, yaar, who's going to see this afternoon show? कौन देखेगा 2:30 का show?" Arey, the whole bloody country started seeing the thing, and it became, I would be driving along the road and people would just cause traffic jams. अरे वो शांति वाला जा रहा है, ओए वो शांति वाला जा रहा है.
Decades later, Shanti continues to be remembered, proof that storytelling, when done right, is timeless. Let's hear his thought on this legacy.
I'm actually still, I'm now feeling the actual benefits of it, that even though I'm out of Bollywood, people still recognize me. It's just, yesterday I went to a sweet shop. So I was having a guest over, so I went to buy some halwai ka stuff for the guest, and I was just talking, and someone from behind says, "Hello, sir." And I look behind and I say, "Yes." He says, "Sir, you are so and so now." I said, "Yeah, but how do you know? You seeing my bag." He says, "I recognized you by your voice." Can you imagine? I can't believe it. I mean, it's 20 years ago I left Bollywood, and there's still people who recognize me just by my voice. It's happened before also at airports and stuff. People standing behind me recognize me by my voice. Leave face they do. I actually grew a beard so people won't recognize me. But no, it doesn't help. It crosses my mind all the time. About a year ago, I was talking to my son and I said, "Should I shift back, come back and get back into Bollywood and all?" But, I think it's just the traffic in Bombay.
Typical, yeah.
The traffic in Mumbai is just impossible, man. That's what puts me off, really. But you never know. I got a call the other day to for a shoot in Pune, to play a well-known person's father's role, a well-known actor, and the shoot was in Pune, but I still declined it. I still said no. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll get back to it. Who knows? Thank you, Tanu. Thank you so much. So lovely to be recalling and recollecting all these things, and was wonderful chatting with